Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Roche, and I'm an admissions officer at Algonquin College's Pembroke Waterfront campus. And today we're going to go through how to complete an Ontario College application to apply to a program at any Ontario college. So your first step is to go to ontariocolleges.ca and you can start your application from here. So we'll go ahead and log in. Now, if you are going to be applying as an international student, you'd be going through the international application portal. Otherwise, as a Canadian applicant, you'll be starting your application through the Canadian applicant portal. Now, if you're a current high school student or have never applied to an Ontario College program before, you will have to create an account in which you can do so by signing up now. However, if you have ever applied to a college program before, you can input your email address into this section here, and it'll bring up your OntarioCollege.ca account from whenever you previously applied. So I already set up an account, so I'm going to input the information that I used to set up that account. So I used our Your Future at algonquincollege.com email account, which is our main recruitment email address. So if anyone does have any questions about any of the programs at Algonquin College in Pembroke, you can always send us an email to that email and we will get your questions answered for you. Okay, so it brings us right into our applicant dashboard upon sign-in. And this is where you can either start your application or resume your application from wherever you last left off. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to start from the beginning and walk you through each section. Now, as we complete each section, you will see that there's a little green check mark that will appear beside each section as that is completed. So we'll just start with our personal information. So it will get you to enter in your gender, as well as your title if you are Mr., Miss, or Mrs. So I'm going to go with Mr. And then you can also put in your preferred name, your middle name, or your previous legal last name. Now, the preferred name section is more for folks that have a name such as like a Jonathan or Samantha, and they prefer to go by John or Sam, then they can put in John or Sam in this preferred name section. Then they can also put in their middle name as well. Now, if you do have a previous legal last name, you can also put that information in there as well. And then just verify that your date of birth is correct on the application and your first language. So if your first language is English, you can leave that as is, or you can also select a different language from the drop-down list. Now, this last section here is asking you to identify as a first-generation applicant. So if any of your parents or guardians have ever attended a college or university in the past, you will select yes. So you will not be identifying as a first-generation applicant. However, if none of your parents or guardians ever attended a college or university in the past, you would be selecting no, and you would be identifying yourself as a first-generation applicant to a post-secondary education. However, if you do not want to divulge that information, you just hit undeclared and then that information will pass through. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to go through and select yes for myself. So the next section is your contact information. So you're going to select the country in which you reside. So I reside in Canada, so I'm going to select Canada. But if you do live in a different country at the time of application, you can select that country from the drop-down menu. Next is to enter in your Canadian address. So I'm going to add in the address of the college, 1 College Way, and that's in Pembroke, Ontario. And our postal code is K8A0C8. So I'm going to hit next. So Ontario Colleges has successfully verified the address I have entered is valid. So they do a cross-reference with the online Canada Post system to make sure that any address is a valid address upon entry. So when applications get sent out, it is getting sent to a correct address. Now this next section is asking for your phone number, so you can either put in your cell phone number or your home phone number. So I'm going to select a home phone number and put in the college mainline number, which is 613-735-4700. Now you can also add in your cell phone number if you are entering in your home phone number as well, so that you have both numbers on file. And then right here you can just verify that your email address is correct. and update your preferred language of correspondence, so whether you want to receive your correspondence in English or French, and also update your preferred method of correspondence, whether you want to receive emails or information from Ontario colleges through hard copies if you don't have regular access to email, or if you prefer the hard copies. So I'm just going to select the email option and save and continue. So the next section that you'll have to complete is the Authorized Users section. In this section, by adding an authorized user, it will identify any individual that will have limited access to your ontariocolleges.ca account. But please note that any authorized users you add on your ontariocolleges.ca account will not carry through as an authorized user with each individual college institution that you are applying to. Each individual college will have their own student information release form that each student will have to fill out to identify anyone that can gain access to their file at any of those individual colleges. So I'm going to go ahead and select no authorized users to add. Now, the next section is to identify citizenship and residency. So I am a Canadian citizen, so I'll select Canada, but if you are a citizen of another country, you can select that country from the drop-down list. And you can also select whether you are identified as an Aboriginal person or if you are non-Aboriginal. So for myself, I'll be selecting no, and country of birth, I was born in Canada, so I will leave that as is, but again, if you were born outside of Canada, you can select your country from the drop-down menu. The next section is to add in any education. So you can add in a Canadian high school, any Canadian college or university, any academic upgrading that you may have done at any Ontario college, or any international education that you may have done through high school or post-secondary outside of Canada. So as you can see now, I have already added in my fellows high school education as well as my education at Algonquin College. So just to review that information, we'll just go into edit details. So this was what you would see if you were to add in your high school education. So the school that I attended was located in the province of Ontario, but you're able to select another province if your school was outside of Ontario. And you can also enter in your institution name. So you can see that I attended Fellows High School, but you can just start typing in the name of your high school, and it should pop up in that drop-down menu. And then it'll prompt you to input the attended from date and attended to date. So I attended Fellows High School between 2001 and 2005, and I started in September and I finished in June. So that information is reflected through the drop-down menus. But if you are unsure of the dates in which you attended high school from, you can do your best guess through the drop-down menus, and then you can always go back and change that information after the application is complete. The information you put into this particular section right here will not hold back your application in any shape or form. Now, last grade completed, you can select grade 12, or if you attended high school previous to 2001, you completed grade 13 or OAC, you can select that option. Or if you did not complete grade 12, you can select one of the other grade options as well. And then you can also identify whether you did graduate or not. And then the next section is asking for your Ontario education number. So the Ontario education number is a 9-digit number that would have followed you through your education career, starting in elementary school into middle and high school. It is located on your Ontario College high school transcript, but if you do not have access to that transcript, or if you don't know what the number is, you just enter in 9 zeros, and that will let you bypass this option. Now, you may have also had a student number at your high school as well, and if you do not know what that number is, again, just enter 0, and you can bypass that option. But just make sure that you do enter and confirm your first name and your last name that would appear on the school record. So whenever the high schools are looking for your transcripts, they can just pull it out by your name. Well, it looks like I did not add enough zeros into the Ontario education number, so I'll add one more in, and then that should let me go through. And that was what the problem was there, so that's let me continue. So we'll go to financial support. So in this section, you can identify if you are getting sponsored by an outside agency, such as Second Career, Department of Veterans Affairs, Indigenous Northern Affairs of Canada, Vocational Rehab. You'd be able to select that option, but if you are not getting sponsored, you just hit no sponsorship and save. Now, the next section is to add in any relevant experience to the programs that you are applying to. So you can add in any relevant job experience, as well as any other relevant activities such as volunteering or association memberships, things like that. Now, under the test information, if anyone does have GED results, IELTS scores, TOEFL scores, Hoya assessments, or any other testings that might be relevant to your college application, you can enter that information into Ontario colleges, and you just have to visit their supporting documents page of their website for information to send that information to Ontario colleges. So I have no experience to add, so I'm just going to leave that as is. And I'll go back to my home, and my next section will be my applications. So when would I like to start college? So I do have two options available to me here. I want to start college between August 2019 and 2020. So that would be for any program starting in the fall of 2019, winter 2020, or spring 2020. Now, the second option is for programs starting between August 2020 and July 2021. So these are for programs that are starting in the fall of 2020, winter 2021, or spring 2021. So because I want to apply to a college program that's starting in September 2020, I'm going to select this first option. And this will bring me to my add program choices. So I can click add a program, and it brings me to the program search. So using this search bar, I can type in a keyword for a particular program, and it will bring up all the Ontario college programs that are available in the province of Ontario that I can select from. So let's just select childhood. And you can also select an individual college, or keep it at all colleges to explore through all colleges in Ontario. So I kept it at all colleges, and it brings up all the different early child education programs that are available in Ontario. And it does specify it by campus and the delivery start dates. So I am looking for the Pembroke campus. So I found it right here. It starts in September 2020, and it's a full-time program. And it's early child education. So that is what I want to choose and add into my application. So it's going to show as my number one program choice, and this is a good chance to review your selection before you submit your application. So I'm applying to the Pembroke campus, early child education program. It's a full-time program starting in September 2020. Now, I have never applied to this program previously, so I'm not going to enter that information in, but I have recently attended the college, so I'm going to select 2012 as the last time I attended the college. And I am confirming that I want to apply to entry-level semester 1 to start in the fall. Okay, so now that we've entered in our program choice, you can see that in our program choice section down here. So let's go ahead and add in another program. So I'm going to type in outdoor, and it's going to bring up all of the outdoor related programs that are available in the province of Ontario. So you can see we do have our outdoor adventure programs and outdoor adventure naturals programs. And it's at the Pembroke campus, full-time delivery in September 2020. So I'm going to apply for the outdoor adventure program. And again, just review your information to make sure that you made the correct selection. So Pembroke campus, outdoor adventure, full-time, September 2020. And I last attended in 2012, and I'm applying to entry-level semester 1. Okay, so I do have two program choices showing there now. So within your Ontario college application, you do get 5 program choices, 3 at any one institution, and there is a $95 application fee for your college application. The $95 does not change whether you apply to 1 program, 3 programs, or 5 programs. So that will not matter and hold up your application. Feel free to apply to 1 program if that's the program that you really want, or if you want to leave your options open, you can also enter in more programs as well. So I'm going to add in one last program and type in forestry. We're going to search for some of the forestry programs that are available in Ontario. So you can see at Algonquin College in Pembroke, we have 2 forestry-related programs. We have the forestry technician as well as the urban forestry arboriculture program. starting in September 2020 at the Pembroke campus. So I'm going to select the Urban Forestry Arboriculture program. And again, just review to make sure you made the correct selection. So Pembroke campus, Urban Forestry, full-time, September 2020, and entry-level semester 1. Okay, so now once you've made all of your program selections, you can see that you can start ranking them. So right now, I currently have early childhood education as my number 1 choice, outdoor adventure as my number 2 choice, and urban forestry, arboriculture as my number 3 choice. But maybe at one point during my application, I want to move up outdoor adventure into my number 1 slot. It's just as simple as moving it up there by clicking the button, and it instantly moves it right up and before you have to save anything. Now, if I do want to move my urban forestry up to the 2nd spot, I can do that as well, which will move early childhood education down to number 3. So at any point, you can always go in and move your choices up and down as things may change throughout your application. So I'm going to leave that as it is, and I'm going to save and continue. So we go over to the basis for admission. So are you or will you be a high school graduate or have earned a high school equivalency by the first day of college? So if you are a current high school student, it will be assumed that you will have your high school diploma in time for the first day of college. So you will be selecting yes, and you will also be selecting yes, you are currently enrolled in a high school course. However, if you are someone that did graduate from high school or has a high school equivalency, you can also select yes, but then you are not currently enrolled in a high school course, so you'd be selecting no for that option. Now, if you are someone that did not graduate from high school or does not have a high school equivalency, such as a GED or an ACE certificate, you can select no, and it will ask you if you are over the age of 19, in which you can continue with applying as a mature student. So I'm just going to save and continue to the next step from here. And this will bring over to our transcript request. So I've already input information to get a transcript request from Fellows High School sent to Ontario colleges, and it's just waiting for my payment. So if we go over to the payment summary, so I'm going to save and continue to the next step, and that should bring us over to the payment summary. So I do have the $95 application and the $7 transcript fee. So once this payment is processed by Ontario colleges, the applications will be received by each individual institution 1 to 2 business days after the payment has been processed. But before you go and process that payment, it's just a good section just to double check your program choices one last time before you go through with the payment. So again, I'm applying to Algonquin College, Outdoor Adventure, Early Childhood Education, and Urban Forestry, all starting in September 2020. Now, whenever you go to complete your order, that will transfer you over to the payment page. You are able to pay with any major Canadian credit card, or there is an option to connect with your online banking to do an Interac online payment and to pay the $95 or the $102 with the transcript request. And then, as I mentioned, once that order is complete and the payment is processed, the college will receive that application 1 to 2 business days after that is complete. So if anyone does have any questions about how to fill out their Ontario College application or how to select any of the programs, or if you do have any questions about any of the programs in Algonquin College Pembroke, you can always give me a call. My number is 613-735-4700, extension 2708. Or you can also send me an email at roches@algonquincollege.com. I hope to see you sometime in the future, and have a great day.